A crimson tide of chaos washed over New York City. Not just the usual urban scramble, but something far more primal, more terrifying. Imagine, if you will, the guttural screams of an innocent populace, the shattering glass echoing like a macabre symphony, and through it all, a chilling, gleeful cackle. This wasn't the work of some calculated mastermind or a common criminal. This was pure, unadulterated madness given form, a living embodiment of slaughter. This was carnage. And somewhere amidst the pandemonium, concealed in the shadows, watched a being who felt a cold, hard knot form in the pit of his alien-infused stomach. Eddie Brock, or rather Venom, the lethal protector, the vengeful anti-hero, found himself confronting a horror unlike any he had ever witnessed. It wasn't the power that unnerved him, nor the destruction itself, but the sheer, unthinking, joyous brutality of it all. This monstrosity, this agent of absolute terror, was his fault. This was his son. It's a strange thing, isn't it, to be responsible for something so utterly monstrous. Carnage had been born from a sliver of the Venom symbiote, left behind in a prison cell, bonding with the psychopath Cletus Kasady. What emerged was a reflection, a twisted, distorted echo of Venom's own power, but without any semblance of conscience, any guiding principle beyond the impulse to kill. The chaos Carnage unleashed was unprecedented, a bloodbath that defied comprehension, a nihilistic spree that even Venom, with all his darkness and rage, found utterly repugnant. This wasn't a bank heist. This wasn't a personal vendetta against Spider-Man. This was an existential threat, a cancer on the very fabric of society that Eddie felt with a crushing weight was his direct responsibility. He had birthed this monster. He had to stop it. But how? Carnage was more powerful, more ruthless, unbound by even the twisted code Venom sometimes adhered to. He needed help. And here lies the crux of Venom's first true act of heroism, a moment that would fundamentally redefine his complicated existence. The very idea must have grated against every fiber of his being, every simmering resentment, every deep-seated hatred. But the choice was stark. Let his creation tear the city apart, or do the unthinkable. He had to seek out his arch-nemesis, the wall-crawling paragon of virtue he loathed above all others, Spider-Man. Think about the sheer audacity of that moment. Venom, the character defined by his unending feud with Spider-Man, the one who lived to torment Peter Parker, was now approaching him, not for a fight, but for a truce, a plea even. He knew deep down that he was the only one who truly understood the raw, untamed power of a symbiote, the nuances of its biology, its weaknesses. And he also knew that Spider-Man, despite their history, was the only one capable of standing against such overwhelming odds, the only one who truly embodied the greater good. The meeting, as you can imagine, was anything but cordial. Suspicion hung heavy in the air, a tangible force between the two sworn enemies. Spider-Man, ever cautious, would have been on high alert, ready for any trick. But the urgency in Venom's usually taunting voice, the genuine horror underlying his words, must have cut through the animosity. It was an uneasy alliance, forged in the crucible of absolute necessity. "We have to stop him," Venom must have snarled, his voice a gravelly whisper. "He's my responsibility." The battle that followed was brutal, a three-way dance of incredible power and visceral violence. Carnage, the unbound psychopath, reveled in the conflict, his tendrils lashing out, his laughter echoing through the destruction. But for Venom, this wasn't about pleasure or revenge. It was about containment, about rectifying a terrible mistake. He fought with a grim determination, side by side with the very person he had sworn to destroy. Their movements oddly synchronized by the shared purpose of stopping the creature they both inherently understood. In that moment, the personal vendetta against Spider-Man, the simmering rage and the desire for vengeance faded into the background. It was overshadowed by a larger, more pressing imperative: the lives of innocents, the fate of the city, the responsibility for the monster he had spawned. This wasn't Venom fighting for himself. It was Venom fighting against the monster he created, and by extension, fighting for a form of redemption he hadn't even consciously sought. This moment, born out of a desire to rectify a devastating error, was Venom's true genesis as a character who could, at times, do good. It wasn't a sudden conversion, but a reluctant, begrudging acceptance of responsibility. It highlighted the nuanced nature of the character, a being capable of immense destruction, yet also capable of a fierce, protective instinct when faced with true, unadulterated evil, particularly when that evil was his own horrifying progeny. It's a powerful reminder that even the darkest characters can find a flicker of light, not always through altruism, but sometimes through the compelling weight of responsibility. What are your thoughts on this pivotal moment in Venom's history? Do you see it as his true turning point, or did other events shape him more? Share your insights and join the conversation in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the complex world of symbiotes, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories from the intricate tapestry of comic book lore. Until next time, keep exploring the narratives that shape our heroes and villains alike.